Hello everybody, and you're watching Overheat. It's me, DozerZigashi, here again. Mugen was going to cover this one. Mugen picked up the replay. But because this battle is it's a best of 3, it's a world championship match between Venge and Breckerr, and because there's going to be some complicated post-editing stuff in it, we decided I'll commentate this one. But Mugen will be taking over Overheat in the near future. But to help with notes and expertise on this, we did bring in a Bront. We got both teams from both players, and we have a lot of a third-person perspective on this match, all made in hindsight. And let's just get into this. We're going to start off looking at team preview. And the big thing that jumps out from Venge's team is this little pink blob, I think that's pink, colorblind. This pink blob right here, I know from Venge, is not something you see. Blissey is unique, because normally Chansey is better, but Blissey is normally run over Chansey because then you can run Shed Shell on it to help escape trapping moves. That's not something we're going to be worrying about from Breckerr here. So the main reason to run Blissey over Chansey then is because if you get knocked off, you can still stall out Calm Mind Arceus. And Evil Tall, knock off, they go hand in hand. And that's pretty much, these are the main two unique things coming from Venge's side. So yeah, but then from Breckerr, what we've got here that's really interesting is the Mega Mawile. Venge might have a problem playing around this because this is the only thing that can switch in on a Play Rough from Mega Mawile. And we'll talk about in the next episode, because we're breaking this episode into 2 parts, a lot of how this Mawile is super pivotal and why playing this Mawile right is the key to Brecker's success. From Venge's perspective, things you're worried about, this Magearna, you're worried about it might have Pain Split, or Normalium's Heal Bell. Plane Split lets it beat Blissey and Audino in the 1v1 because it just can outstall them, and it can't be toxic by them. And overall, what we're looking at is a nice stall team from Venge, and kind of a more balanced team from Breckerr. And let's just get into turn 1 right here. Not a whole lot to talk about. Brecker's going to lead off with a Thunder Wave here. He's letting his Groudon take that Judgment, which isn't the best. That Thunder Wave miss is unfortunate. But Rocks would have been better here, because Rocks are really important against Venge because this Lunala, and we'll talk about this a lot in future games. So, the inability to get Rocks up here is unfortunate, but otherwise not the end of the world. Brecker's going to switch into Magearna. Magearna does not care about the Judgment. Rocks go up. Volt Switch here, and we're going to pivot into Arceus, who can just defog these rocks away. I think that's what he goes for. Yep. And Giratina's really fat, by the way. Ice Beam did, not a lot. And we're just going to sit on this. So this pressure is making the PP from the Arceus really whittle down fast. That's something that Breckerr needs to be careful about, and will come into play in future games. Because remember, this is a best of 3, so how things play out here, what information you reveal, will be important in the long run. Now, this Flare Cannon crit matters a lot. Because without the crit, Flare Cannon maxes out at 84%. On the calcs against Venge's specific set as well, but against a standard set, it's 86. So against Venge's set, it's maxes out at 84%. And because of the Spadef drop, special attack drop from Magearna, the Arceus can just recover off the damage, and Magearna's never beating the Arceus in the 1v1 unless it crits. So this is really good for Breckerr, because this is also Venge's only defogger. And as we just talked about, Rocks is really important. So this crit gives Breckerr a free kill on a really important mon in Venge's team. So Lunala comes in, gonna instantly pivot out to the Audino to force the whatever. Probably just seeing the Volt Switch. And then not a lot's gonna happen. Double Switch was a little questionable there. It doesn't really hurt anything. Maybe trying to catch an Evil Tall Switch in, we don't know. But it doesn't matter. But the big thing, there's still no Rocks being put up on this side of the field from Breckerr. And he can easily just switch in Pedon in on this, because it's not doing much damage. And instead, the Magearna comes in, and Magearna scares out the the Giratina at least. And then Mawile comes in. I don't know if it's going to do anything. Let's see what happens. Is this going to be the first of the fabled? No, the Play Rough connects. So keep in mind this Play Rough damage. That Play Rough did 80%. So Breckerr needs to remember that it's a best of 3. So this Play Rough is only going to do 80% because Giratina is just bad. Groudon comes in. Finally. The Will-O-Wisp not going to do anything. And then is Breckerr finally going to get Rocks Up? Breckerr finally gets Rocks Up. Now here's about to be an interesting interaction. So what we've seen from this Groudon so far is I think it's revealed Thunder Wave and Stealth Rocks. So it's probably not an offensive set. Venge is going to coil in its face, and then Breckerr is just going to stand here with huge cojones and hit Hidden Power Ice. And that is going to trigger the Power Construct, but does a lot of damage. And here's the next interesting thing, is as you can see, the Groudon is going first. Which means it looks like Venge is going for a Dragon Tail, expecting a switch. But Breckerr was obviously sacrificing this Groudon because, as we've seen, it's got Stealth Rocks, it's got Thunder Wave, it's got Hidden Power Ice. The other potential moves it has is probably a Fire Stab or a Ground Stab. Fire Stab, we're probably thinking Fire Blast. Ground Stab, we're probably thinking Presence Blades. None of those really threaten much of anything that Venge has, so this Groudon staying in and just sacrificing itself is kind of... It's obvious in hindsight, not necessarily in the moment, but this is definitely a misplay from Venge here. Because this wasn't really threatening anything Venge had, but this did threaten the Zygarde. So there's no reason for Breckerr to just not to click Hidden Power Ice and maybe get a kill. And this is going to matter a lot, because as the Zygarde goes down, the Lunala comes in, it's taking Rocks damage, the Shadow Shield gets broken. He's going to Calm Mind in his face instead of attacking the Groudon, which means his speed's going to get lowered. It's taking a lot from Fire Blast. We now know it's full set. The Nurse Joy comes in, and yes, he's got Clerics for the Thunder Wave, so the Thunder Wave wasn't super important. But we're about to see something interesting play out. So the Magearna comes in, is going to Volt Switch to just kind of pivot in the Yveltal, which every time, you're going to see a pattern over this best of 3 that every time Yveltal comes in, Audino switches in, and Breckerr just kind of doesn't do anything about it. Audino's got a Mega Evolve here, but this time Brecker's getting the U-turn in to bring in the Genesect, who's going to get this physical attack boost off of this Audino, and that's just game. The Giratina's at 20%, the Lunala's paralyzed. Maybe if you're able to get that flinch, so if that was Heal Bell, I think the Heal Bell is on the Audino. Yeah, the Audino is the Cleric here. The Audino is carrying Heal Bell. Whoops. So if that flinch was a Heal Bell, which I suspect it was, the Lunala would not have stayed paralyzed. I think Genesect still outspeeds. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does. But if Genesect didn't outspeed there, then that's really unfortunate. But then it's just Kanekam. Iron Head kills the Giratina. Lunala comes in. It's paralyzed, so it's not going to go fast. Giratina's just going to kill it. Critical hit for good measure. And the Blissey's going to die. And then Breckerr wins this first match 6-0. His match was only 33 turns. The next 2 matches are each at least like 90-some turns apiece. And if you're looking at these teams and you don't know the result of this best of 3, the fact that I'm saying they're about 90 turns maybe cues you in on who's winning them. But Breckerr played this pretty well. Venge kind of had a big problem with the Zygarde, letting the Zygarde go down. Zygarde was kind of important because Zygarde's really bulky, really strong, especially on a coil set. I don't know if he didn't think that... I didn't know if he thought that Breckerr was going to switch. I think it was a switch call with that Dragon Tail, but it just didn't work out for Venge. Really unfortunate. Breckerr takes game 1. And that's going to be it for this episode, so this Overheat's going to be a 2-part special. Both episodes should be going up around the same time. So when you're done checking this one out, go check out the other one. Or if that one's not up yet, you can go and check out our first episode of Overheat where we talk about a doubles battle. Till then, I've been Dozer. This has been a short episode. The next episode's probably going to be a bit longer, but I will catch you there. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.